So people want to be mad that I don't want to sell myself for money. That's on them. I'm not here to sell myself for money. I'm not seeking the reward of money. I'm here to fulfill my spiritual mission. I am on a spiritual mission. I have to fulfill the mission that was inscribed upon my spirit, my soul's mission. That's what I'm here for. Now, bruh, this is a lot of videos, okay? And most likely it's gonna be like two more videos, okay? Because I have so much up. There's only so much that I can, so many slides that I can bring up at once, okay? I'm gonna do my best, all right, to flow along with the audio, and then at some point we gonna have to pause it so that I can go over everything that I have up, okay? And then I really want to get this thing done today, bruh, but I just don't know. Okay, I did make space on my passport, so I have 9 gigabytes of space. I literally had to delete like 5 movies that I really didn't want to part with, but I was forced to do so because I have no space. All right, and it's more important to be able to have space to put these videos so that I can go upload them for you. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue.
You're still persecuting us, but yet you want to call us racist. You want to call us hateful. What the hell do you call being upon our ancestral land, refusing to assist us out of these horrible circumstances? All that has happened to us. What's more hateful than having no compassion for us? How in the hell are you going to call us hateful while you're on our land, refusing to help us? That's the ultimate gaslighting. That's an ultimate narcissist. Like, you're like, how dare you not be complacent with our abuse of you? How dare you not allow us to continuously oppress you? How dare you not be complacent with our tyranny? How dare you? You literally are persecuting me for wanting my freedom. You've been persecuting me because I am a free spirit trapped in this carnal flesh. The only reason that I would need money is to sustain my fleshly body, because that is the society that I happen to be born in, that's requiring this, that established this system. See, you want to think that this is the real reality. It's only the real reality for a period of time during the tail end of the times of the Gentiles. It's not like it's the real reality indefinitely. That means it's not really a real reality because it ain't eternal. Okay? The only way is the real reality is when it's eternal. If it's temporary, then it's not real. Okay? Like, I don't know how else to explain this to you people. If something is temporary, then it's not real. Only the eternal is the real reality. It's not like it's the real reality indefinitely. That means it's not really a real reality because it ain't eternal. Okay? The only way is the real reality is when it's eternal. If it's temporary, then it's not real.
If it's temporary, people, then it's not real. Okay? We are in a system that is clearly not working. All humanity and all creation is practically suffering. Okay? The vast majority of all humanity and all creation is suffering. Therefore, this system is not working. That is how a paradigm shift begins. The established way of seeing the world no longer functions. This capitalistic mentality and heart condition is no longer gonna be functionable because now the living witnesses have been risen and we're shining the light on this illusion of economic slavery. Okay? This is what I've been instructed to do. But many people only see the reality that has been presented unto them. Okay? This is because they are dependent upon the reality. They are identifying themselves with a reality that we have been presented. Okay? We were born into a world. Okay, see, we don't know nothing about this, okay, that it used to be before they established this on top of us. Okay, this was our ancestral land. We were happy upon these lands. And then the worst of the heathen came over here and imposed this wicked ass system upon us, okay, upon the indigenous people. All right, so now the indigenous people, along with all humanity, are sent through this what they call life. Okay? So now every single soul born upon this earth, forced into the schooling system, all right? Coerced and cajoled into the workforce, all right? Bombarded with freaking ads all day, every single where, so that you will be a consumer, so that you will continuously need this money so that you can please your fleshly body, all right? And this is how you live your life. You're earning your money, you're saving it so that you can be a consumer and be comfortable in the carnal flesh all the way from birth into your death. And that's what these worst of the heathen call life. Okay? That's what they impose upon us. And people are complacent with this. But I ran away from this. But many of you looking at me like, what's your problem? You need to get back over here and do what we do. You know, you wouldn't be mad at me that I am no longer participating in this. Because I'm trying to go back to my happiness, okay? Before the worst of the heathen was able to come over here and impose their evil freaking will upon us. Okay? But because most people are complacent, they are identified, they're dependent, and all of this, okay, these people are dependent upon money. This is why they can't see any kind of life outside of earning money for a living. They think they cannot live their life without money. I've been living my life without money for 3 years. Okay? Yes, every now and then there's someone who will have compassion. But for the most part, I've been long suffering. Okay? Because I realize that this is not all there is. Okay, I realize that there is a higher power outside of their wicked ass system that they imposed upon me. I realize that it's just a layer. Okay? Therefore, I can put my trust and faith in the true and living God because I know that this is the end time of their rule. Okay? They no longer have spiritual nor mental dominance over us. Right now, all they have is physical dominance over us. Okay? To a point. Because, hey, eternal benevolence looks out for his people. All right? Yes. Yes. I've been taken care of by eternal benevolence, but it is not without long suffering. Okay? I have to go through the long suffering. Now, this is the reality they imposed upon us, making everything about this freaking god of money that they set up here on top. So now everybody is fighting one another to try to get this money. That is not the real reality. Okay, this is the real reality, where the earth is providing freely for the inhabitants of the earth. And the inhabitants of the earth are loving one another as thyself, appreciating one another for our individual qualities that was given unto us via the true and living God of eternal benevolence. Why don't people want to live happy and free? Why do you rather be in this wicked ass captivity? Eating dead bodies and just living in your carnal flesh. Not caring about anyone but yourself. Selfishness and greed. Capitalism. All of that is bondage from the demonic realm. This is the reality that I am trying to bring back to humanity for all who can receive it. Okay? Freedom means that you are unobstructed in living your life as you choose. Okay? As long as you are not imposing your will upon others, because that is not righteous. Okay? Anything less is a form of slavery. Okay? Everybody is not able to live an unobstructed life by earning money for a living. I am not able to live an unobstructed life by earning money for a living. Okay? Because I am not here to pine after money. I am not here to please my fleshly body. I am here to operate in my spiritual mission, and I cannot do that by earning money for a living. Okay? So that is not freedom. I want my freedom. You're no longer going to gaslight me. If you think you love freedom, but you don't care if it applies to everyone, what you actually love is privilege. See, you want to continue benefiting off of our destruction, the destruction of the indigenous people of these lands. You want to force us to be complacent with laying our bodies as the ground for you nations to continuously trample upon us. But see, time's up for that. You're done gaslighting us. I know now that it's a subtle form of emotional manipulation that often resulted in us doubting our perception of reality and our own sanity. Okay? No longer can you do this because I have the proof, I have the receipts of the real reality. I know that this cannot last for eternity because it was built on wickedness. This whole system was built on evil. It was built on bloodshed. It was built on robbery. Okay? So clearly, that's a paradigm. Okay? That's a paradigm. All right? Y'all have committed some of the worst atrocities in history. But somehow you have managed to convince yourself and the whole damn world that we are the threat. You seriously think that we are a threat, we are the threat to this satanic illusion. Okay? Yes, we are. Yes. One second. Mm-hmm. People think you're crazy when you become wiser and more informed. Not because you're crazy, but because their illusion is threatened. See, the CIA came against us, alright, to try to suppress us so that we would. I forget which person that quoted that the biggest threat is Negro unity. All right, they did not want Negro unity because they knew that it would be a threat to their illusion. Okay, Thomas Jefferson is another one that made this quote. I tremble for my country when I reflect that the true and living God is just, and that his justice cannot sleep forever. Okay? So, this is why that other president had quoted, or not president, but CIA director, was it? I can't remember who made this freaking quote. J.F. Hooger, FBI agent. Okay, thank you, Father. Hold on a second. Do I have that even? Okay, the FBI labeled us as black identity extremists. Okay, they considered us a bigger threat than Al Qaeda. Okay, and white supremacists. So white supremacists could be upon our ancestral land, terrorizing us for centuries, but they're not a bigger threat than us speaking about who we truly are. They call us and label us black identity extremists. See, they're forcing their label of black upon us. They force their label of African upon us, and because we are not complacent with these labels, and we're telling you that we're actually the biblical people, okay? They want to claim that we're identity extremists. We know who we are. It's biblical prophecy that we will remember who we are in the land of our captivity. This is J. Edgar Hoover, the same one that stated that the biggest threat to society is Negro unity. Okay? He was a pedophile. Okay? FBI pervert. All right, this is Shirley Temple when she was a child. You are upholding wicked freaking people. You're upholding the mentality and the heart condition of the worst of the heathen, while you are persecuting those who they have labeled black identity extremists. But the true and living God is about to deliver us. We're not the problem. Quote from Malcolm X: "If you're not careful, the newspapers will have you hating the people who are being oppressed and loving the people who are doing the oppressing. You love these wicked people who set themselves in authority over all humanity and all creation. These devils, these worst of the heathen." What is wrong with you people? White America be like, who cares about what happened hundreds of years ago when my forefathers first came to this land? I don't care to learn about what they did in this land. I don't care to know they brutally raped, robbed, and murdered your people. I can care less. I can care less that they stole this land from your people. That's in the past. Let the past stay the past. But it's the very reason that you're able to live on top of us in our own ancestral land. You want to claim you never owned any slaves, yet you're benefiting from back when we were literally forced to be a slave for nothing. Okay? For nothing. They literally forced us to work for free. Okay? So, and then this generational wealth was passed down within your families. Okay? You don't care that you've been benefiting off of what's been happening to us. You're benefiting off the fact that we are still slaves in our own ancestral land, being forced to pay the descendants of those who invaded our land. So you're benefiting, even though you ain't never owned any slaves. You're upholding a system that does own slaves. You got your modern day owners of private prisons. You see him? Okay? This is a European. Okay? I've owned and operated private prisons for over 2 decades. Private prisons are the single greatest real estate investment vehicle around. Here is what I've learned. Owning a private prison gives an investor a reoccurring and predictable stream of high margin revenue. The government contracts are long term in nature and very lucrative. I have managed to make over 35,000 per prisoner annually. Let's break down a deal. Okay, this was a tweet. He proud of himself. This was back in 2022. He bringing in 35,000 per prisoner annually. There's people that don't even make I never made nowhere close to even 30,000 in a year. This dude making 35,000 per prisoner annually. And it's predominantly so-called black people that they've locked up in these prisons. Isaiah 42:22. But this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes, and they are hid in prison houses. They are for a prey, and none delivereth, for a spoil, and none saith restore. We have been allotted into the hands of the worst of the heathen. But you don't think that you've owned any slaves when you're benefiting off of all of this. One second. See all of these NFL owners? How come our people are encouraged to be entertainers? They're encouraged to be in the sports leagues for their white owners. They own them. Why are so many pro basketball owners Jewish, like Donald Sterling? See, the scripture declares that the true covenant people would be in captivity, that we would not be in a position of ownership. So these are clearly not the covenant people. Those who call themselves Jewish did not lose their heritage. They did not lose their inheritance. All their life they've been taught who they are. All their life they've been sent to Hebrew school and taught the Tanakh and taught the Torah and all of these things, okay? Taught what tribe they're from. But the real covenant people grew up not knowing who the hell we are. We grew up confused. Isaiah 2:3. The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib. But Israel don't know. My people don't even consider it. My whole family thinks I'm an idiot. My whole family is following after the worst of the heathen, looking their nose down upon their own people. Want to live around the Europeans. Want to emulate the Europeans. Those who invaded their ancestral land. So So you want to claim you never owned any slaves, though you've been benefiting this whole entire time off of our captivity. But you want to claim it's not your fault that you get to benefit off our disenfranchisement. You say, who cares how your people are still being systematically marginalized unto this day? You psych yourself out to believe that you ain't a part of this just because you didn't personally start it. You seriously think it's not your responsibility to fix it when you are in a position to be able to help fix it. You want to claim it's not your problem, but yet you're on our ancestral land, enjoying all the benefits of our detriment. That is subtle deception. And you're so racist towards us. This is how you treat us. You got money and all your materialistic things, out eating at fancy restaurants, while our people are casted out as bums on the street. Not even a roof to lay our head. He's skin and bones. He's indigenous to this land. And this is how we've been treated. We've been casted as worthless and treated as garbage by you nations that are on our ancestral land. But you don't think you gotta pay for any of this. You got the nerve to call us racist. You got the nerve to call us hateful. Because we're confronting all your real history so that you can correct it, so that you can overturn your transgressions and be delivered with us. But hey, most of you don't want that. But you certainly want to keep us in this captivity. Well, it ain't happening. Your time is up. All of this time we've been trodden down by wicked men. All of this time you've been blaspheming our God. And all of this time I've been obedient, giving you this word by way of the Spirit, separating what's good apart from evil, thereby blessing the name of the true and living God of eternal benevolence. And you just been totally dismissing all of it as if it's irrelevant. But you don't understand that He is getting ready to deliver us. He's going to overturn all of this for us because we are in a paradigm shift. See, you think you're free, but you're not free. You are a slave to the God of money. Your spirit is enslaved to many evil spirits. Yeah, demons, which you refuse to subdue. Subtly deceived into thinking that you are superior over us, that you are better than us. It's time for a change. You know, Satan always runs ahead of time, people. So you had Barack Obama in what? Well, what year was that? Was that 2016? I can't remember. I can't remember what year Barack Obama was like uh, his old change freaking campaign. Let me look it up right quick. Because I really don't be paying attention to the politics, but that just rose up in my spirit about how Obama had this whole change campaign. I want to find out exactly what year was that. What year was Obama's "Let's Have a Change, We Can Bring Change" campaign? What year was Obama's change campaign? Okay. Okay, that was 2008 because yeah, in 2016 that's when Trump became president. So from 2008 and he had Obama had two terms. So from 2008 to 2016 he was president, and then Trump was president from 2016 to 2000. And then there was um, Biden, all right, from 2000 to 2004, all right, and then Trump again. So, you know, Obama started this out in 2008 about this whole change thing, okay? But you don't realize that Satan runs ahead of time, okay? He runs ahead of time, but the change really is here. Okay, it just ain't gonna come from those who set themselves in authority. All right, it is the minority of the remnant within the remnant, the covenant people that went into this final captivity. Okay, these people, okay, the ones that were sold to the nations. All right, eternal benevolence allowed it, not for our destruction, okay, but because of our iniquity. He allowed it for the chastising wrath of the nations, okay? We were delivered to our enemies, all right? Yes, that's Baruch 4:6. But this was not indefinitely, okay? It was only because we were stiff necked. All right. This was the prophecy fulfilled against us. All right. Because at first, let's start here in verse 27. This is Baruch chapter 2, verse 27. O Lord, our God, thou hast dealt with us after all thy goodness and according to all thy that great mercy of thine. Okay? Our God is all love and compassion, kindness, mercy, empathy, generosity, benevolence. Okay? But we are to stay in His goodness, in His attributes, if we want to continue to have Him in our life and protecting us. Okay, anytime we depart away from His beneficence and we act in malevolence contrary to His attributes of benevolence, then we're out of His presence. And when we're out of His presence, it was foretold to our forefathers, as thou spakest by thy servant Moses in the day when thou did instruct him to write the law before the children of Israel, saying, if you will not hear my voice, surely this very great multitude shall be turned into a small number among the nations, where I will allow them to be scattered. Okay? For I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people. But in the land of their captivities they shall remember themselves. Okay? A remnant then came back to our God. This connects to Isaiah chapter 10. Okay? Israel shall become conscious and awake from their slumber, but only a remnant shall return unto him, a very small portion. Okay? All right? Joel 2:32. And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call upon the name of eternal benevolence, this is not by what you vainly say out your mouth. This is by your actions. All right, this is the confessing of his name. Okay? I wish I had internet, bro, so that I could bring that up. Okay, here. Thank you, Father. I'm glad I saved this. Therefore, whosoever confesses me before men, him will I also confess before my Father who is in heaven. All right? This is the time to confess his name. Okay? It shall come to pass that whoever shall call upon the name of eternal benevolence shall be delivered. Okay? You must confess his name before men. How do you confess his name before men? It is by your actions of benevolence. Okay, you must begin to show compassion. You must begin to show kindness, mercy, empathy, real love, and generosity unto his covenant people who is in poverty physically. Okay? That's how you confess eternal benevolence. Okay? But whoever denies eternal benevolence before men, holding on to selfishness and greed in this satanic ass system of capitalism, him also is going to be denied before eternal benevolence. Therefore, you are not going to be delivered from the hand of malevolence. You are not going to be delivered from the angels of torture who come to take possession of their portion. Okay? If you want to be delivered, then you will confess the name of eternal benevolence by your actions. For in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem shall be deliverance. It's surrounding us, his covenant remnant. As eternal benevolence said, and in the remnant whom eternal benevolence shall call. Okay? So you want to keep casting us off and ignoring us. You're doing it to your own detriment. Because we are his remnant that he is going to deliver. Okay? It's us that remember ourselves. He sent us the Spirit. Okay? He said, and we shall know that he is our God. For he gave us a heart and ears to hear. We already had the eyes to see. We just had no spiritual clarity and or understanding. So he gave it to us by way of his Spirit. Therefore we have praised him in the land of our captivity. And we think upon his name by keeping his attributes in mind and emulating it with our actions and our deeds. We don't go contrary to benevolence and divine love. Therefore we have returned from our stiff-necked ways and our wicked deeds, because we remember the way of our wicked forefathers, which sinned before eternal benevolence. And because of this, regardless of what you people want to believe, regardless of what you choose to do, he is going to bring us again into the land which was promised with an oath unto our fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And we will be sovereign again over our own ancestral land. And we are going to be increased. And we will no longer be diminished. He will make an everlasting covenant with us to be our God. And we are going to be his people. And it's going to be known that we are his people. We will no longer be driven out of the land that he has given unto us. Right now, we are not sovereign over our own ancestral land. Right now, we are being ruled over by the worst of the heathen, who just set themselves in authority over all humanity and all creation, impose their wicked ass system upon our ancestral land. So what in the hell is it that you people cannot understand? This is not the real reality. It's time to confess our God if you want his deliverance. In confessing his name, you must confess your sins. You must confess the sins of your wicked forefathers. You must face your real history. Second. All right? You have to face it. You have to face your demons in order to be cleansed from all your unrighteousness. All right? That's 1 John 1:9. Okay? So yeah, this captivity is not for eternity, people. Okay? This capitalistic society that we were born in is only here because of the wickedness that was done unto us. All right? And I've already went over this. This is why you're about to reap judgment. Okay? Habakkuk 2:12. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood, and establishes a city in iniquity. Your whole system was built upon iniquity. Okay? Woe to him who builds his realm by unjust gain, to set his nest on high, thinking that you're going to escape the clutches of ruin. Okay? No, you're not going to escape. Okay? This whole system was built upon our blood. Okay? So if you don't want to help heal us and restore us, then you're going to be destroyed right along with the system. So that on you may come all the righteous blood shed upon the earth. From the blood of the righteous Abel to the blood of Zacharias, the son of Berechiah, whom you murdered between the sanctuary and the altar. And all the righteous blood that you have been spilling upon the earth during your time frame of the worst of the heathen, where wickedness was just allowed to run rampant, seemingly to be unchecked. You've been living in denial, people. Okay? You living in denial. Now let me check my time. All right, we're at 49 minutes. Let's go ahead and go ahead in this audio.
Okay? I don't know how else to explain this to you people. If something is temporary, then it's not real. If something is temporary, then it's not real. Only the eternal is the real reality. The only reason money is being required for us to live our life, the only reason money is being required for us to live our life is because the worst of the heathen completed their doctrine of discovery, their manifested destiny in colonizing the indigenous people and taking captive the remnants of the people into perpetual captivity for the duration of their time of this capitalistic system. We are prisoners of war in our own ancestral lands,
underneath the system,
being forced to be a cash cow for the worst of the heathen.
Okay, hold on a second, because I was looking for something. Where the heck is that at? I know I brung it up. Alright, there it is. Okay. This right here. Alright. Literally forcing the spiritual people to be a slave for money. Just to sustain our physical mortal body upon the earth. Um But because we have been awakened by way of the Spirit, we've been mentally set free, spiritually set free. Okay, we have the clarity and understanding by way of the Spirit. Um, you trying to force us to focus upon um, self preservation for our carnal flesh is adding to your judgment. Okay, that's the best way that I can put it, people. You are adding um you're adding more weight to your judgment. Okay, you're piling up more wickedness that you're gonna have to pay for. Okay, especially now that we're speaking this truth to you via the Spirit of truth. Okay, you cannot force the spiritual people to live a superficial reality in our carnal flesh. Okay, time's up for that. All right. Um, you want to be complacent with putting your trust and faith in the heathen's image of the beast, which is money? That is your choice. You want to be so busy chasing after this fool's gold that you don't want to realize that you are actually enslaved by that? That is your choice. But time is up for imposing your choice upon us. Okay? We're here to offer a choice for those who want to be the portion of eternal benevolence. Those that want to confess eternal benevolence. Okay? Those who want to confess eternal benevolence. All right? We're offering you that choice. We're not forcing it upon you. We're telling you that you can no longer force us to be a slave to the false god of money. You cannot force us to live a superficial reality of earning money for a living for our fleshly body. Okay? Now, your time is up. You have a choice to make. I don't care that you people want to call me crazy. Second. second. Cause I got something on my spirit. It's the second time that it popped up in my spirit. And I gotta show you, but I don't remember the freaking keyword to it. Oh, that's super loud. And you know why it's that loud? Because we're underneath a dome. Okay? That sound bounces off the dome. Okay? 1 second, people. I know I will find it. Okay. I think the keyword might be crazy. That is really loud. Wow. Give me a second, people, because that was not the keyword. I gotta find it, though. 1 second. Uh. Let me try reality. Thought I tried that before and I didn't see it. Okay, it's not it either. It's one of these though. Truth is, I get too many, but it has to be under truth. It's just so many hits. It's 1,755. But hopefully I can find it. All right, because it has to do with um, when you're telling the truth in a world that's so used to the illusion. You're the one that's perceived. That's crazy. All right, you're like I'm the one that's looked at as crazy, but I know that I was born into a world, into an illusion. Okay, and because I know I was born into an illusion, no, just because I'm one of a whole like I'm one of very few. Okay, there most people are complacent with the illusion. So you know, I stand out like a sore thumb. Okay, but I'm okay with that. I'm perfectly okay with being in the minority, versus being a part of the majority, comfortable and complacent, living a false reality. Okay, and I don't like when I can't find what's upon my spirit, and I cannot remember that key word that will pop it right up. I'm still on the truth and scrolling. Bruh. I've seen other things that's kind of like connected to it, but what the heck is this? I'm not gonna bring that up right now. Where is it, Father? Where is it? What is the key word to it? Alright, I don't know. Give me a second. Let me finish scrolling. It shouldn't take too much longer to scroll this. This is crazy. I can't believe it'll be all the way down here. Just and when I find this, man, I'm gonna have to put a different keyword because this is crazy. I need it, and I'm not able to find it with the keywords that automatically come to mind when I think about it. I have to change the keyword for it if I ever find it. Oh man, where the heck is it? Why is it not coming up with conspiracy? Okay, well, if I can't find it with this, then I'm gonna have to just give up on trying to find it, people, because I'm not trying to take up too much freaking time with this. I don't know if I'm gonna even be able to do another video after this, because I'm famished. I haven't eaten anything all day. Okay, 1 second. Yeah, I don't know. This is gonna be the last keyword I try. Illusion. Okay, illusion. It didn't come up with that either. Okay. Alright, so pull this up. Pull this up. Okay. Pull this up. Um 1 second. Don't I try one more? The media, okay, that's not coming up with that either. Okay. I don't know, people. I've shown it before. I have no idea what the key word for that is. Okay. 1 second. All of this is connected. Okay, all of this is connected. Uh, when people are comfortable and complacent, then you know they don't have the ears to hear the truth by way of the spirit. Okay, and that's unfortunate, but that's again not my problem. Okay, because I am aware that the whole world is under a spell. Stannis. Hate, is that the keyword? I don't remember, bro. But it's bothering me because it kept popping up in my spirit. So like, I don't know. I don't like that when there's something that's there, and then I can't think of the freaking keyword to pull it out. I don't know. Okay, but it had something to do with being a quote unquote conspiracy theorist in a world that's comfortable. Hold on. It's not it, but that's along the lines of it. Okay, this too. Alright, human tendency is to believe anything that comforts and deny what discomforts, so that unpleasant truths are simply ignored. Okay? That is what I was trying to, well, it wasn't what I was trying to find, but that's what I was trying to find in a nutshell. Okay? So you literally choose to believe the lie. Okay? Because the truth is uncomfortable. So it's uncomfortable to many of you Europeans that so-called black people, so-called African Americans, were originally the most prosperous people in the world. And that it was the Indo-Europeans, the pale-skinned people, that were the impoverished. And the reason why for that is because of the lands in which you were dwelling in. Okay? The Indo-Europeans were in the barren lands where it was cold year round. Okay? Nothing grew. You can't grow anything in snow and ice. Okay? So this is why many of the Indo-Europeans, it's normal for them to eat flesh. Okay? This is what they've always eaten pretty much. Okay? Uh, this is what many of the Indo-Europeans lived on for centuries. Okay? For eons. All right? It was our people that were instructed to not eat like the other nations. And it was because we had the lavish lands. We had the lands that grew all of the exotic fruits. We had the lands that grew all of the food that would sustain all humanity and all creation. We were instructed to be righteous with what we had been given. Okay? So, yes, we were the original kings and rulers of the earth. We were the initial caretakers of the earth. But because we did not keep the covenant of the true and living God, it was allotted into the hands of the wicked. All of this is an unpleasant and uncomfortable truth that many people are choosing to ignore. Okay? It's easier for you to ignore this truth than to accept this truth. But in order for you to be the portion of eternal benevolence, you're going to have to accept this truth. Okay? You're going to have to come face to face with this truth. And then you're going to have to help his covenant remnant operate and soar in our spiritual mission. It's not about vain lip service. Okay? So you're going to have to subdue your ego. Okay? You're going to have to subdue your ego, because that's the human tendency. The ego is the human tendency. Okay? That's your carnal, fleshly mind. Okay? You must subdue that. Alright? You must subdue that in order to accept the uncomfortable truth. Okay? Now, cognitive dissonance is seeing the truth and knowing the truth, but choosing to believe a more comfortable lie. Okay? You're choosing to believe the lie simply because the truth makes you uncomfortable. You don't want to believe that so-called black people are the kings of the earth. You don't want to believe that we're the ones that had initially received and will again receive all of the prosperous lands upon the earth. Yes, it's going to go back into our hands. I don't understand you many of you nations. Like, you seriously think that because you done raped, robbed, murdered, plundered, pillaged, and stole all of this for yourselves, that now it's yours. And you get to hold on to it indefinitely. You don't have to give back anything unto the indigenous people. And at the same time, you think this is the real reality. That's cognitive dissonance in a nutshell. Okay? We are here to heal, not harm. I'm not here to put you in captivity. I'm here to liberate you from captivity. Okay? So you think you're free because you get all your money and your materialistic things. But you have no idea that you have yet to atone for your transgressions against divine love and eternal benevolence. You have yet to overturn your transgressions of greed and selfishness. Okay? You have yet to detach yourself from the system, from the beast, all right, and from the ideology of the worst of the heathen. All right? You have yet to confess eternal benevolence. All right? So the reason why you hadn't done that is because you didn't know that you had to. But we're instructing you that this is what you have to do if you want deliverance, if you want divine protection, if you want to experience any of the attributes of the eternal living God. Okay? We are here to love, not hate. We're here to create a better reality. Okay? Not to destroy anybody, but we are here to destroy this false ass reality. Okay? And all the people who choose to be connected and dependent upon this false reality, you have selected to be destroyed with the false ass reality. All right? But that's not us destroying you. We're here to destroy the illusion. And along with the destruction of the illusion, all those who are attached to the illusion is going to be destroyed. Okay? Whether mentally, spiritually, or physically. You are under a spell, but you are ignoring the few of us that can see through it, have been gifted the spiritual clarity and understanding. Therefore, it's crazy to us that you keep ignoring us. Like, what in the hell? You're doing it to your own detriment. Oh, because whether you believe it or not, the world's lies cannot continue. The true reality is being released. Very soon, your fictional world will come to an abrupt end. Okay? The ruling classes have used mind control, controlling the minds of society. It worked out very well for the ruling classes, but it was literal torture for the indigenous people. Okay? Whoever controls the media controls the mind. The most powerful weapon in the hands of the oppressor is the mind of the oppressed. Okay? Your mind is programmable. And if you do not program your own mind, then someone will program it for you. Okay? And it has been programmed via this system. Okay? Therefore, you have to renew your mind. Okay? In order to see the truth, you must be willing to break through all the illusions that you have been taught. Okay? It's all illusions, Mr. Anderson. Okay? Fragments of perception. Okay? Temporary constructs of a feeble human intellect trying desperately to justify an existence that is without meaning or purpose. You're just a battery for a wicked ass system when you're earning money for a living. Okay? And all of them as artificial as the Matrix itself. They tell you this in the movies. I am so tired. Like, people, when are you going to listen? Okay, where is the small percentage that is waking up from the trance? Where are you? Cause I've been standing alone in this for 3 years. Over 3 years. To this day, I have no mortal support. There has not been a righteous am to take their place. So where are you? Because I'm surrounded by a whole bunch of people who continue defending the lie, deflecting from the truth. Because admitting that they were wrong would threaten their very existence. Because they are identifying themselves with this satanic ass system. Therefore, for a majority of people, the spell cannot be broken. Why am I surrounded by these people where the spell cannot be broken? Where are the people who are able to wake up from this trance? Where in the hell are you? Some people will laugh at you and call you a conspiracy theorist because the knowledge you drop is too deep and threatens their reality. Hold on, I'm going to get to that. You're living in denial, people. Okay? Okay. I think I went over all of this. The truth will set you free. Okay? We are in a paradigm shift. Now, let's continue.
And all you nations have been complacent. And you want to blow all of this off and accuse me of being lazy. That's gaslighting. Y'all used to refer to us as the mule of the South. Y'all worked our people to death. You get free labor from my people. You have yet to pay for any of the atrocities in which you've done unto his people upon his land. And you think that it's indefinite, that you don't never have to pay for your sins, and that we are just going to stay on the bottom of this imposed economic system. No, see, the entire system is about to be destroyed. And I am here to reveal the truth unto all humanity and all creation.
All right, hold on a second. Because I got some things I'm going to have to bring out. And I think I'm going to start up another video for that. 1 second, let me find out what my time is. Okay, we're at 1:19. Ephesians 4:12. Let him that stole steal no more, but rather let him labor. Okay, it's you Gentiles that worry about how you're gonna sustain your lives and how you're gonna it's you that worry about this. Let me pull that scripture up. Okay, I think that's in Luke. No, or Matthew 25. Okay. For it's the Gentiles that seek after all of these things. Okay. Hold on, let me find it. It's the Gentiles that seek after that. Where is it? Okay. All right. Verse 32. And yes, this is Matthew chapter 6. All right. For wherever your treasure is, there will your heart be also. Now, as for you Gentiles, your heart, the majority of you, okay, your heart seek after how you gonna sustain your life, how you gonna take care of us, because your God was never eternal benevolence. Though that is the true and living God, you never knew that God. Okay, you've only knew the beneficence of that God because he allowed you to come over here to his blessed covenant land and do horrible, heinous atrocities to his disobedient covenant people. Okay? And he's allowed this for centuries. All right? So, you Gentiles, our God was never your God, even though there were a small portion of you that were able to be grafted in after our fall. Okay? When we rejected the Messiah, it was offered unto you nations. Okay? Peter was the one that was sent unto the Gentiles. And Cornelius was the first Gentile that was instructed to go seek out one Simon Peter. Okay, so yes, you Gentiles have been able to be engrafted in. However, you did not stick to the beneficence of eternal benevolence. Therefore, you have been cut off from eternal benevolence. Therefore, you seek after the riches of the world. And eternal benevolence allowed it. Okay? So now you are all prosperous because this is what your heart was after. Okay? Your heart was after physical wealth. All right? Gentiles, predominantly you, okay? Your God is gold. 1 second. I think this might be from the Children of Light. Okay, here it is. Return of the Children of Light. All right. This is what your forefathers did during the Spanish invasion of these lands. All right. During the conquest, the Spanish. This is from Return of the Children of Light. During the conquest, the Spanish, directed by the Catholic Church, directed by the Catholic Church, directed by the Catholic Church. Okay, you need to understand that all your religions, including your Christianity, all right, was directed by the Catholic Church and imposed upon the true holy people. Okay? Systematically destroyed nearly all vestiges of Incan spiritual life. Every lineage, okay? Every one of our stones, all ceremonial sites, all right? They destroyed everything that we were. All right. Moreover, the conquistadors invaded sanctuaries of the virgins of the sun, whom they raped, literally defiled us sexually. Okay. The agricultural terraces and irrigation systems were seized, but were not maintained. Okay. We were self-sustained. We were sustaining ourselves off of our land. Okay? We weren't working for money for a living. We lived off the land that was given unto us. All right? But when y'all came over here and destroyed all of that, As a result, the people were no longer connected to the stars from which we originated, okay? The solstices and equinoxes, so vital to our vision, we could no longer be accurately there. It could no longer be accurately observed. So our ties with history were severed, cut off. Okay, we were cut off from being a nation. All right, and there were no longer any surpluses of food or water, but instead droughts and famines. Okay, they systematically impoverished us. They disenfranchised us. Okay, the conquistadors, driven by overwhelming greed, rapacious greed, and a blind arrogance based on an indoctrinated sense of moral superiority, had but two interests: subjugation and gold. The story in Mesoamerica is much the same as that in Peru, although in both regions, even long after their golden ages, the civilizations overrun by the Spanish were in many ways far more advanced and progressive than the cities of Spain at that time. Okay? Since the Vatican had decreed that the indigenous people of the Americas were not human and thus had no souls, anything was tolerated in the blind pursuit of the one and only God. In the blind pursuit, anything was tolerated in the blind pursuit of the one and only God, gold. Okay? From Cusco alone, the Spanish took billions of dollars worth of gold, often in the form of extraordinary pieces of artwork melted into ingots. Much of the wealth that came from the conquest ended up in the coffers of the Catholic Church, which in turn continued to support the conquistadors. Okay? This is biblical prophecy that was fulfilled against us. First Nephi 13. And it came to pass that I beheld this great and abominable church, the Catholic Church, and I saw the devil, that he was the founder of it. And I also saw gold and silver and silks and scarlets and fine twined linen and all manner of precious clothing. And I saw many harlots. And an angel spake unto me, saying, Behold, the gold and the silver and the silks and the scarlets and the fine twined linen and the precious clothing and the harlots are the desires of this great and abominable church, your Roman Catholic Church, your Vatican. And also for the praise of the world do they destroy the true holy people of the true and living God of eternal benevolence, and have brought us down into captivity. Okay? Look at all of this gold that they stole from the indigenous people. They forced us to work for them, getting gold for them. Now your priests and your Vatican pretend to care for the poor while they're holding on to all of our treasures. Look at all that they have stolen from the indigenous people. They disenfranchised the indigenous people, stole everything from us, and left us destitute, and said, root hog or die poor. Now you will work to earn our God. Their God. Their God is gold. And with the resources of the earth, they created their monetary system. Okay? Ultimately, the goal of the conquistadors was to break the spirit of the people. We were enslaved and brutalized, stripped of everything that had meaning, forcing us to live a life of superficiality. And our spiritual practices were outlawed. However, despite this violence, the seed was not destroyed, but instead went underground to sleep within the unconscious, where in the realm of our deepest yearnings, it awaited the return of the light. And now we are here, shining the light, giving all you people a choice. You Gentiles have your prosperity now. Now you're all prosperous. But you don't want to talk about how you became prosperous. You just want to continue to look your nose down at the indigenous people whom you reclassified as black people, African Americans, foundational black Americans. Oh, you niggas just ain't working hard enough. You want to blame us. You want us to you claim that we're envious of you. I ain't envious of you, although many of my people are envious of you. That's why they go out of their way to emulate you. But I ain't emulating you. I'm speaking this truth by way of the Spirit, warning you, telling you that your time is up. You either use your prosperity righteously, or you're about to be destroyed. Alright? You have a choice. Okay? It was only for a period of time. You have been gaslighting us for centuries. Gaslighting. Power is in the tearing human minds to pieces and putting them together again in new shapes of your own choosing. You did this to the indigenous population. There's some things I want to bring on the next video. But there's one thing that just popped in my spirit. Hold on. Integrate. Okay, it can come up with that. This here. Okay? Alright? So, you assimilated us by force into your culture. Alright? You imposed your culture upon us. And you enforced us to take on your culture. Okay? This happened between 1879 to 1918. Alright? But, when I was born in 1976, y'all still had the public school system. Alright? So it wasn't an industrial school. Now it's the public school system. Alright? So I went through the public school system being indoctrinated still yet into your mainstream culture. Being taught according to Eurocentric reality. Okay, to a Eurocentric reality. This is what we were taught. Okay? Nevertheless, it leaves a long lasting legacy, creating opportunity for some students, those who adopt to your reality, and conflicting identities for very few of us. Because it left me confused. Because I'm being assimilated into your culture. But your culture is without real love. Your culture is without real compassion. Your culture is without real kindness, mercy, empathy, generosity. Your culture is all about superficiality. Your culture is all about chasing money for a living. And that was all contrary to what has been inscribed upon my spirit. So it created a conflicting identity for me. I did not fit into your reality. Okay? So now that I am aware of this, you can no longer use your gaslighting tactics on me. I am aware that you have me and my people in captivity. You are all Pharaoh. All of you in your prosperity. You are a modern day Pharaoh. Looking your nose down at us. Refusing to let his people go free. You want to call us lazy. Well, that's crazy. Because at one time we were known as the mule of the South. You worked our people to death. And you have yet to pay for any of this. Ephesians 4:28, let him that stole steal no more, but rather let him labor. So you labor, Gentiles. You get your prosperity. All right? You work for your money. That's what you live for. Okay? Yes, you work with your hands and you're proud of that which you have been able to obtain for yourself with your selfish ambition. Okay? But now that you have all your prosperity, you are to use it for good. You're to use it to give unto us who are in need. You are to be a righteous am. If you are righteous. If you are the portion of eternal benevolence. Otherwise, you about to be cut off from these lands. You've been living in denial for centuries. But just because you want to remain in denial doesn't mean it's going to affect a real reality. Okay? It has no effect. It has no effect on the real reality. Okay? You would not have been able to obtain your money without this economic system being established upon our ancestral land. Okay? It's time to confess your sins. Done with this. Okay, because we're in the paradigm shift, people. You have a choice. Alright, I think I went over all of this. The truth shall set you free. Okay? I went over all of this. Okay. So, the truth will set you free. Alright? When I come back, which will not be today, most likely tomorrow, and it will be the final part of this project that we will finish up. But bro, that took a lot out of me. Okay, I'm exhausted and I'm famished. Okay, um, so we don't have much left in this audio. I'm gonna take it back a tad bit, and finish it up for you. We have about maybe 7 more minutes left or so. A little bit over that, maybe about 7 minutes left in the audio. But there's some important things I'm gonna need to go over with you, and I don't have the energy to do it right now. Okay, I don't want to rush anything. Um, so on that note, people, I'm gonna leave it at that. Okay, I have been languishing. I have been long suffering. People have refused to show love unto me. People have refused to show compassion, kindness, mercy, empathy, any amount of generosity unto me. Okay. Yes, somebody did donate that $20 love donation the other day, and I was able to get food for Tiggy, and relieve my suffering with a 6 ounce bag of tobacco and some tubes. But it's gone now. Okay. Still not able to pay the rent. That's almost 3 months past due. Um, I'm constantly going without my herb. Yes, my neighbor hooks me up from time to time with a couple of buds here and there. Um, but, you know, people, I have not been happy in this mortality whatsoever. Okay? But what does make me happy in my spirit is to operate in my spiritual mission. And so that's what I continue to keep doing, even though people keep ignoring it. My channel has been ghosted. You can look at the amount of views on my channel. You can look at the amount of likes on the videos. I, I'm not getting that much exposure. Okay, this truth is not getting much exposure. All right, it's literally being suppressed and hidden. Okay, I am a hidden one amongst the many. Okay, but I'm here for a reason, and it is out of compassion. It is out of real divine love. It is out of real mercy and empathy that I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm not here for your money. It is not about your money, okay? The worst of the heathen made everything about money. But my heart and my mentality is not set upon your money, okay? My heart and my mentality is set upon my spiritual mission and true freedom and happiness for all humanity and all creation. All those who are willing to confess the name of eternal benevolence with their actions. Okay? Shalom.